Welcome to a video where I can help you figure out if you need a game in 10 minutes or less. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and I once got fired from a canned juice company. Apparently, I couldn't concentrate. Thank you for clicking on this video. I hope you stick around. Now today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called Tales of the Shire, the Lord of the Rings game, which is an awkward title, so I'm just gonna call it Tales of the Shire. Developed by Weta Workshop, hope I'm pronouncing that right, and published by Private Division, released not in early access and selling for $35. So what even is this game anyway, and is it even worth it? Well, let's find out together. So basically in this game you play as a random hobbit who's slacking off and taking a nap in the middle of nowhere when lo and behold a magical wizard in a gray robe, pipe, and walking stick just happens to stop by. I wonder who it could be. So Gandalf takes you on his little carriage after openly confessing how obsessed with hobbits he is and decides to kidnap you. After he dumps you onto some random hobbit village, he takes off and leaves you to deal with the mess. And now your journey begins. That's about it for the story, though I may have exaggerated a few details there. Regardless, that's pretty much all there is for story here. Of course you meet Gandalf, of course he's on a carriage traveling through the Shire, and of course this all takes place during the Third Age, which, if you didn't know, is the same time frame that Frodo takes the One Ring to defeat Sauron. This was Gandalf the Grey in his grey robe, so this obviously takes place before the Balrog. I don't know a lot about Lord of the Rings, but I like to think I know enough. Anyway, since we got that bit out of the way, let's move on to the good and the bad, followed by my final thoughts. So up first for the good, because we always look at the good first, is the idea here. Just from the idea alone, I've had this on my wish list since it first popped up on Steam. I love farming sim games, or slice-of-life sim games, and I've been playing Roots of Pacha, Grimshire, Stardew Valley, My Time at Portia, and a lot of others I could keep going, so I'm always excited for a new one, and now one in Lord of the Rings. I mean, wow. But with gameplay that looks similar to My Time at Portia, I mean, yep, I'm invested already. So the idea was already really cool, and it was a really good one at that, so I was already pretty much invested and excited for this game the moment I saw it. Next up for the positives is the stability. Now the game was really stable, really smooth, and only had a few hiccups here and there. It did drop frames on me a couple of times and even had some really weird random musical glitches. But otherwise, for the most part, it ran really well for me. I have heard a lot of people online talking about how it was super buggy and broken for them. So, let's just go ahead and say, for me, it was super stable, but it might not be for you if the rest of the masses are to be trusted, okay? So keep that in mind as we go forward. Stable for me, might not be for you. And last but not least for the positives was the production value. Surprisingly, there was a lot here, with a lot of unique little faucets added. For instance, instead of having a dotted line or a mini-map, the game helps you track your location and quest locations by following a bird trail, like a literal trail of birds. They fly around you and they show you which direction to go in. Now, it's not a perfectly designed mechanic, but it's a really good idea and it's an interesting take on tracking a quest. The game also offered a variety of random cutscenes which really helped to draw you in and feel more immersed. From the opening cutscene, the cutscenes that pan around your house whenever you sleep or do something, and the various other cutscenes here and there involving other characters or events. So there was a lot of effort put into helping make the world feel more immersive and alive, and that's very much appreciated and it really helps you just get into the game. Now, I hate to say it, but that's unfortunately all I could really think of to talk about positively with the game, and I legit sat here for a while trying really hard to find something else, anything else positive to say about the game, from nothing else than for my own love of Lord of the Rings lore and overall story, but I couldn't. Every positive thing I tried to think about that I could talk about here, my mind was then flooded with things that were wrong with that positive thing. So let's just get on with it. However, do me a favor and help the growth of my channel. I'm trying really hard to get to 5,000 subs, and it would mean a lot to me if you could help me by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Also, help spread the word of my channel online since YouTube doesn't want to help smaller YouTubers, and hit that notification button. After all, these videos can't help you if you're not informed in time, and that's their whole purpose, alright? Alright, so the first most glaring negative that I'm sure you've already noticed right away was the graphical design and its quality. Now, if they wanted to go a completely different route with their art design, I suppose that's fine, right? But this particular art design, I hate it. I couldn't stand looking at it. Everyone looks fat, everyone looks ugly, and overall there's a severe lack of contrast and detail, and even the coloring is off in a lot of places. The user interface was annoying and uncreative, and did you see those damn clouds? What the hell am I even looking at? And what the hell is wrong with Gandalf's finger? Why is it like that? So there's just a lot of really weird shit going on here with the graphical quality and overall design that it was hard not to notice. I mean, look at this rain, for instance. Yeah, I mean, look, it's raining. Look at this. Look, this is the rain. It looks awful. And don't even get me started on that character creator. I mean, it was absolutely awful. Everything looked super feminine, and I wanted to play as a male character, and everything here was just awful. It was kind of funny that you could edit your Hobbit feet, though, but just for the most part, I really did not like the character creation screen. It just seemed really badly designed, and that maybe it's not that the character creation screen is bad, but maybe it's just because the graphics are so bad that it makes the character creation screen look bad. I don't know. But I will say I liked their naming mechanic in the game. You know, you choose your first name and then you choose your last name. You can type your own ones in there too, so that was interesting at least. At least there was that. Next up for the negatives was the sound design. There's absolutely no voice acting in the game at all, and honestly, I'd have preferred AI voice actors to nothing at all, because it just really sucks all the life out of the game when there's nobody speaking here. The music, as well, was highly forgettable and unimpressive, and the sound effects sound supremely weirdly goofy and out of place despite the game's overall tone. Like, nothing fits, and nothing with the sound design worked here. I guess you could make an argument for it being slightly calming, and thus that might be the main thing they're going for here, but I just wasn't feeling it. For me, the music was just forgettable and nothing else worked to fit that narrative. Overall, it was just more annoying than anything and offered me nothing in nuance or quality, but it did have ambiance. I'll say that much. Although, not the best ambiance. Shire has better ambiance than this game has. In Shire, when you walk around outside and inside, you can hear the rain from inside and outside and how different it sounds. But here, you can hear the rain outside, but not so much inside, and that's kind of a lacking quality here. The next negative I'd like to talk about is the gameplay. However, it wasn't all bad. So first, let me tell you the things that the gameplay did right. The cooking mechanic, the dinner party mechanic, and the house decoration mechanic. The cooking mechanic was really interesting and a different take that I haven't seen a lot of, especially in games like this. You have to pick out ingredients, cook them the right way based on what your house guests prefer. Do they like crisp and crunchy or smooth and tender? Do they like it spicy or sweet? Do they like it smooth or chunky? Wait, I said that already. These are all the things that you can prepare, adjust, and season the way they wish to further increase the amount of relationship points you get with them when you serve them the food. Overall, it was a really interesting mechanic that was fun, that should have been exploited more and should be utilized in other games, because it really was interesting. Then you've got the dinner party mechanic, which is what you need the cooking for in the first place. Here, you serve food you've prepared for your guests, and they'll either like it or not. If the relationship is increased, they'll give you gifts. And this is the primary mode of improving your relationships with the other hobbits, by the way. And then you've got the decoration mechanic. Here you can change and customize pretty much everything inside your house to fit the particular theme and directional style that you want to live in. And they really went in depth with the amount of customization you can do here. It was so well done, and it was actually really fun and engaging. You could even decorate the outside of your home, which was also really cool that a lot of games forget to do. So that was all really cool too. Unfortunately though, everything else with the gameplay here was lacking in some way, shape, or form. For instance, fishing. When fishing, you cannot choose where to cast your line. It's just random, despite the fact that you need to aim in the area where the fish actually are located. Doesn't matter which direction you face either, as your character will just cast it randomly. There's no fast travel, which means your character needs to run around everywhere. Oh, wait, did I say run? I meant skip. That's right, there's no actual running in this game, no sprinting, just skipping, which, by the way, doesn't increase your speed at all, and as far as I can tell, serves no actual purpose. So you'll be skipping all around this little town, which takes a lot longer than you'd think. The farming aspect of this farming sim game is rather lackluster and uncreative. The relationship building is literally only through those dinner parties. You can scavenge for herbs and other shit in the forest, you know, fish and farm for ingredients. Just like in Shire, I have no idea how to make money. I guess I could sell the ingredients I collect, but why would I do that when I need them to build relationships? And that's all your meals are good for, by the way, because you have no stamina. There's no way to kill time either. There's no way to skip time. You can't sleep unless it's evening or night. So if you finished everything you wanted to do that day, and you know at that time you're just sitting around and doing nothing. But don't you worry, they made sure that you can emote in this single player game. Yeah, cause that's what we really want. Emoting and taking selfies. Like, yeah, that's totally where the developers should have spent their time, rather than giving us some more in-depth gameplay mechanics. Man, these game developers today just really get us, don't they? Overall, I found myself very quickly bored, as there simply wasn't a lot to do besides run here, talk to this guy, run there, talk to this girl, run home, cook, invite people, serve them food, which after the initial fun of the cooking started to become droll because you have so few ingredients in the beginning and so little direction on how or what to even do with your cooking that you're kind of just doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, I don't even understand this cooking half the time. They said to look for the sweet spot, but there was absolutely no indication of a sweet spot despite all the cooking I did and all the menus I went through, which leads me me to my next negative, the tutorial. But before that, just know that to me, in my own opinion, the gameplay was severely lacking, slow, and boring, not only in content, but in engagement. But now the tutorial, if you could even call this one. It's very vague, doesn't give enough specifics or examples, and kind of just tosses you into the deep end without any real examples or information to use to learn how to do what you need to do. I was just kind of figuring things out on my own, using their vague descriptions as a way to guide myself. Which leads me to my next negative, the writing. It was unoriginal, uncreative, and overall corny and annoying. Every single character was annoying in how they spoke and what they said. Half of them were just being jerks for no reason, while the other half were being really stupid for no reason. Hell, one of the quests, the first main one you get, is just you running from this person to the next all over the damn village, only to find out that the main objective of your quest was at your house the entire freaking time. Talk about the most insulting, runabout bullshit quest I've had to do in a long while. Now, if they wanted to use it as an excuse to get you to talk to all the townsfolk, which is what they did, then I kind of understand it, but the writing here made every single person involved that you spoke to, including your own character, sound like absolute morons. And last but not least was the price tag. Without voice actors, without serious gameplay mechanics, or in-depth choices, without choices period, and the price tag, it just starts to look a bit ridiculous. The graphics don't justify it, the sound design doesn't justify it, the gameplay doesn't justify it, the writing doesn't justify it. I just think looking at this game's cover and its outward appearance, you might think $35 is pretty decent for a game like this, but once you actually get into it and you realize how shallow and uncreative and lacking it is, and suddenly I realize this game shouldn't be charging more than $25. That's how much I think it's worth. Now, I may be in the minority here, but I came here expecting a little bit more than this. This game should have been amazing, and those mixed reviews on Steam are completely justified. Simply put, I feel like this game should be charging less or offering more than it is. Overall, and here's the thing, I don't think it's a bad game, but it's not a good game either. I have my own personal qualms with the game, obviously, and personally couldn't stand playing it any longer. It was just too slow, too boring, too corny, too unoriginal, too uncreative, with barely offering anything exceptional. That decoration mechanic is cool, and that cooking mechanic is cool, but everything else within the game was just boring, unimaginative, and repetitive. Technically, it's not doing anything super wrong, except maybe that price tag being a bit high. And despite me not liking it, if I look at it from a more objective opinion, I don't think it's super harmful or anything either, but I was expecting a lot more from a Lord of the Rings game, and instead I got something rather average and unexceptional. Overall, my final opinion is that it's an average farming sim game. If I had to give it a rating, which I don't usually do, I would give it a 5 out of 10, leaning towards a 4. For a farming sim, life sim game, I really expected more things to make it feel like that. Maybe a chair to sit on, you know? Or maybe I can smoke a pipe, or play a musical instrument, or maybe I could actually fix up my house before going and doing a bunch of random chores for random strangers. I don't know, but for a life sim, it was missing a lot of things to make it feel like a life sim. And for a farming sim, it was missing a lot of things to make it feel like a farming sim. My recommendation? Well, I suppose if you're desperate for a new farming sim game that's not in early access, or if you're a big fan of Lord of the Rings, then I guess it's not really harmful or overly broken, so I guess you could try it. But I mean, come on, I didn't even get a hoe to hoe the ground to plant my own seeds. I get these little seed boxes like... Whatever, but if you were expecting more like I was, then you might be disappointed. Overall, I just hope this video was able to help you figure out if this game is right for you or not. If it is, then hey, I hope you enjoy it. And if not, then again, I would completely understand. But that's all the time I got for this video, everybody. It's already going on way too long. Sorry about that. Thanks so much for watching, with a special thanks to those of you who stuck around to the end. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.